Time for some golden hour, Mike.
Okay, so this is along the same lines. It is interesting. Like Tony, I think, was in a position he kind of had to respond at some point because it is, while they're not saying his name, particularly Maron's not saying his name, it is targeted at him. You can just tell by a lot of the obvious hints that Maron is giving who he's talking. He's talking about Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe more than anyone else. So Hinchcliffe was in a place where he kind of had to respond. What's interesting is guys who aren't involved in this at all commenting, inserting themselves in it somehow, and commenting on how they hate comedians that talk shit about other comedians and using talking shit about other comedians as the way to convey that message. If that sounded confusing, it's because it is psychologically. But the other thing the other reason these clips are interesting is it's the first time we've ever played clips of the Golden Hour or D'Elia and Schaub in general where I'm like, oh, it's not they're doing a good podcast for 3 minutes. They're actually having an interesting conversation for one. I couldn't believe I was not clipping something to mock. I mean, we are going to mock them a little bit, but like they were having actually a normal conversation, which I was impressed how long they were able to keep it up. But let's hear them talking about, I forget where we start.
Brotherhood.
These comedy beefs. Yeah, so we have all these beefs and comedy going on, and Erik Griffin's kind of pointing out like, hey, these in the comedy circle, we're not supposed to do this to each other. And D'Elia and Schaub take umbrage with that.
What he says.
He's just salty.
And I think that
He's just
sucks.
salty.
I don't think it's good for the brotherhood. I don't like that shit.
Yeah,
brotherhood. What brotherhood do you speak of?
No
the one that kicked my friends out of the brotherhood? The one that kicked my friend Chris and Brian out? What fuck?
Hold on a second. Casey, I've prepared another clip that I'd like you to play, and we may go back to it throughout this interview. People that kicked Chris D'Elia out of the brotherhood. I don't remember. I can't remember a bunch of reactions. The only one I remember, well, Callan and Schaub probably had a great reaction, stuck up for Chris D'Elia. So a bunch of tweets come out from Michaela Oakland and other people accusing Chris of nefarious behavior. What happened on The Fighter and the Kid the next day? Obviously, they had Chris's back, as Brendan's pointing out here. Could we get a little taste of that? Other comedians can learn from this. This is what it's like to be loyal to another guy.
This is what support sounds like.
Yeah.
I can't talk.
It's just...
Hold on already. The man is weeping talking about Chris D'Elia. Maybe he can't talk because he's like, I've got his back so much. That must be it.
I can't talk.
It's just, it's like, it's a weird thing because I said to Brendan, I said, it's like, it's like watching someone die or something.
He died. He passed away.
Brendan's actually crying. Oh my God.
See ya, Chris. Good riddance. This is, by the way, oh, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you. They obviously must have talked to him when all these rumors came out about Chris D'Elia. The media is portraying him as a bad guy. Other comedians are turning their back on him. Obviously, they called Chris before giving this tearful address, I assume.
And also, it's what's important is that we haven't spoken to Chris.
No.
And
that is important. What's important is we threw the guy's number in the trash. We didn't even bother asking him if it was true. We're just going to give a tearful reaction to it.
Chris,
we figured knee jerk was the way. When your good buddy is accused of pedophilia, let's not forget, was the accusation. When people are calling him a child molester, I think the best way to do it, turn the cameras on. Don't call him.
He'll see this.
Yeah. We've never been on the road with him. I was on the road with him.
We've never touched him, never seen him, never been on the road. Who is this guy?
I don't even know. Chris who? I'm not familiar with him.
About 14 years ago once, when he was, just beginning, but I've never been on the road with him. So I don't know. I don't know what to think, and I don't know. And that's what's so frustrating.
I'm just sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
So anyway.
Okay. Now can we go back to Brendan talking about loyalty and how the brotherhood kicked Chris out?
Yeah, sorry. Give me 1 second. I gotta get back over here. 18 seconds.
Yeah, so let's go back in here. This is about those scumbags that didn't pay Chris any mind when his accusations came out.
Brian, what fucking brotherhood?
You're right about that, buddy.
Yeah, weird. There isn't any, but whatever. I mean,
Fuck them.
yeah, I don't know. I see these guys.
I wonder if Chris in that moment, because you hear Chris kind of going like, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if there's any thought, and maybe now like Brendan has been good enough to Chris where it's all water under the bridge, whatever. But I wonder if there's any moment where Chris is like, didn't you guys break down crying and essentially accuse me of all the things people were saying? You're like, hey, listen, we've never been on the road with the fucking guy.
Yep, that's exactly what he's thinking, Mike.
He's got to be, right?
Out, and
Yes.
they're just all like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah.
Oh, dude, so
Of
good
course.
to see you. You're so funny. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, bro. Thank you. See ya.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the weird thing now. Things are different. You know what I mean? Everybody, I tell you, this is a byproduct of people being so concerned about social influence. This is what this is really about. I mean, social influence is everything. It drives engagement. It drives revenue. And people don't want to, anything that they think is going to take away from the money that they're going to make, they're going to put up the
I take it
tents
back.
and
I thought it was like them having a good conversation. Now that I hear Erik Griffin going off, I remember they've completely lost them. They're not even talking. They're not saying words anymore. They're like, it's all about the bottom line. It's like, well, that's not even the discussion really here. None of this makes sense. It doesn't apply. They were talking about Mark Maron, and none of this applies to the conversation they were having.
All of a sudden, I was on The View.
Yes.
be like, nope, that's it. It's just
They're going to
about
protect
me.
it.
Yeah,
Yep,
they're
they're
going to
protect it at all costs.
Yeah, and at all costs.
Even if it means
man.
losing their friends, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
whatever.
So-
It's all good.
Can I hear the beginning of that other clip again? Hold on. Sorry a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, because I
That is-
forgot. Brendan's talking about loyalty. I just want a refresher of memory. What happened when his buddy Chris was in trouble the next day? How did the fighter and the kid handle it?
I can't talk.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure.
Can't talk about it, Mike.
I'm going to need that drop on my soundboard, I think.
We'll get Kragers back over there.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah,
Yep,
they're
they're
gonna
going to protect
protect
it at all costs.
Yeah, and at all costs.
Even if it means
man.
losing their friends, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. So
it's all good.
I mean, I always say like I feel like it sucks that loyalty is not something that people value.
Yeah, no, not at all. And it's weird too because
Except for your boy here.
yeah. Oh, there's a few.
I need the clip again, Casey Day, if you wouldn't mind. Can I hear
no problem.
loyalty? This is
No
what loyalty sounds like.
Loyalty.
I can't talk.
Okay. No, let's keep listening. I want to hear. That's out of context. What does loyalty sound like?
It's just, it's like, it's a weird thing because I said to Brendan, I said, it's like, it's like watching someone die or something.
Yeah, so maybe, Brendan, we could say we all have times where maybe we're not living up to the code of loyalty that we've painted in one's mind, We all have moments where we panic, I guess.
And also,
Loyalty.
it's just,
We can go back to the, we got the idea. We can go back to the golden hour.
All right, here we go. 124. Boom. Oh, shit.
It's
Sorry, I
weird
made it very
too because
confusing for Casey.
No, I just got to go back and forth.
Except for your boy here.
yeah. Oh, there's a few. There's a few. There's a few. No, there are a few.
Oh, yeah. Who else? Who else, Chris? Who
There are
else?
people.
Name.
I don't. I don't know.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah?
I got to hear it one more time. Who else, as Brendan is beating his chest here, who else is as loyal as this?
I can't talk.
Okay.
Maybe the best part, though, is this is
Sad. I don't.
so anyway,
I can't.
I'm sad.
I'm just sad.
Anyway.
I'm just sad. Oh, Brendan.
And here we are back to...
No, but that,
That's Brendan's problem. Here's what Brendan should do. First of all, I don't think they've ever talked about this on the air, so it would just be interesting from that perspective. Like, hey, remember when you wept and threw me under the bus? And that's kind of the moment that everyone was like, oh, he might be guilty of something because of the way the fighter and the kid were reacting. It would be interesting to have them have that discussion. But again, if Brendan were a guy with any self-awareness, he would go, in moments like that, he would go, Listen, like these are all our friends, but we're all also worried about our careers and our families. So we have moments where we panic, and people think like they don't know if it's better to throw someone under the bus or have their back because of the way the industry is built. And is it easier to defend Joe Rogan, who's a guy in power, or is it easier to go with what I believe, like Mark Maron or whoever? Like Brendan could have a conversation like that, but he's not capable. What he's capable of doing is going, only your boy is loyal, and he forgets that clips like that are out there.
Who else, Chris? Who else?
There are people.
Name.
Well, I don't know if they want to speak of them, but
in the spotlight. In the spotlight.
Well, but that but nobody actually but that's the thing where nobody cares. Like, there's so many people who are like, to me, that are in the spotlight that are like, dude, you got to get back. We're gonna, you deserve to be fucking doing these in movies and shit.
Chris.
I'm like,
What is happening there?
Poetically said.
Won me over, Mike, with that argument right there. This man should be in front of the Supreme Court.
like, yeah, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I mean, people who are like,
in the business.
and also famous.
This is D'Elia, by the way, trying to. If you can't understand what he's trying to explain, he's giving you an example of the people that defend him. That behind the scenes are like, "We love you, brother," and he can't even muster the words of like, "We gotta get you into a project. We gotta get you in something. We gotta get your name out there." He's just saying. They say, wait, what is it they say? What do they imagine? Think, Chris. What would they say if someone was saying this to me?
When Brendan is finishing your sentences, you have no argument.
Yeah, this is a man trying to come up with a believable lie.
I can't believe this is how bad these guys usually are. My memory of this clip was like, hey, they're being good podcasters for once.
That is how low the bar was.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, we got to get you in something.
No,
I'm
it doesn't count.
No.
It doesn't count.
I know it doesn't, but that's my point. I'm saying they don't care. They don't care. Why would they care?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't count. What counts, Casey Dyke? Could we hear that one more time? This is
Absolutely.
what counts: is friendship and loyalty.
I can't talk.
It's just, it's like, it's a weird thing because I said to Brendan, it's like, it's like watching someone die or something. And also, it's just...
There we go. That's what I wanted.
It's just... I can't even talk.
Like watching someone die or something. That's my favorite. That's one of the great apologies. That's what I was trying to think of. The other day when we talked about Patton Oswalt, I put his apology in the Hall of Fame. And I put it up there with Jimmy Kimmel. And there was another one I was trying to think of, and I couldn't come up with it. It's that. The Fighter and the Kid apology for being friends with Chris D'Elia. Maybe the greatest ever. That's an amazing one.
I got to give that to Trucker Andy, because he might not be aware of that one. He does that show, All Apologies.
I mentioned it to him. I'm pretty sure he did it.
Okay.
Maybe with me. I can't remember. I know I suggested it to him. I don't remember if I was on the episode or not.
Excellent. This next one's called Hurt Feelings.
Yeah, so this is interesting to watch these guys talk about this, because I think this is more the clip I was referring to, where it was interesting to hear. This is the first time they were really honest, where they're like, yeah, we're like, no one respects us, and it kind of sucks. And it's the first moment I was like, good for you guys for saying that. You're being honest. That's nice.
But I mean, I saw a clip the other day with these comics that were, they were not well known, but they were talking shit about Kill Tony, and it's like,
hilarious.
Just, why? Like, for what? For what?
Because he's the big dog.
I know, but it's like,
when you get to a certain level, like, people are going to take shots. It's like, it's a weird comparison, but it's like I'll talk shit about the UFC. I love the UFC, but I talk shit about them because they're so massive.
I love, Brendan doesn't even understand his own argument. He's like, these are bad guys. The people that talk about shit about Kill Tony, these are bad guys. They're seeking clout. They're trying to get clout off of Tony's name. For example, I do that.
I'm the bad guy that goes out to UFC.
When it comes to UFC, I'm one of these troll leeches that just sucks off the teat of Dana White. Now, do you understand, guys? Do you follow now that I've made that nice analogy?
The problem is when Brendan puts two thoughts together. Like, one he can handle, but when he adds that extra thought in,
fucking idiot. Oh, it's terrible what they do to Kill Tony. Kind of exactly like what I do when I cover fighting.
They're so big, like
I understand.
It's just what you do.
It's different when it's a company when they're talking about actual people like comedians.
Well,
It's like-
Kill Tony
like,
is
that
a
shit-
company at this point. Like Kill Tony is, Tony has all these employees, and they've got a massive Netflix deal, and in its own way, Kill Tony is an entity more than a man. You know.
Absolutely. It's a business, man.
It affects
So like, what are
people.
the? So what's their problem? You can make fun of people in a business, but you can't make fun of people. You know what I mean? Like,
Is that a new
like,
rule? Let me write that
well,
one
you
down.
can't. You can make fun of the UFC. You can make fun of Dana White or I don't know, Chael Sonnen or whoever the fuck you want from UFC. Hanato Moicano, is that better? our guy from a couple weeks ago. You can make fun of all these guys, but you can't make fun of Tony because the podcast is named after him. He's a guy.
Like when Mark Maron goes. I mean, look, you talk about Mark Maron. Like he'll go out and he will. He knows that he has issues with people. Like I mean, he's not like he says he's
That's his
But
thing.
to go on a podcast,
Yeah.
and talking to a guy and being like, the kid. These are the words. The kid doesn't have an act.
yeah. No,
You know,
yeah.
to talk like that.
But what I'm saying
like
is
what?
Yeah, but here's my thing. But here's my thing.
Where is this footage that you got, Casey, from Erik Griffin's home ring camera? How are you able to obtain that?
He is. You pass the ball to him and it just stops. He's
You're in a
ball-
podcast, you jackass. He's like, to go on a podcast and talk about other comedians. Ugh, I can't believe Mark Maron is doing that. This is the golden hour, by the way. Please like and subscribe.
Mike, it's a hypocrisy. I gotta say, pointing it out right now.
For it doesn't affect Matt Rife because what happens and what Mark's doing. Mark's a fossil, so his demos 45
I'm
to
glad you guys
7
aren't talking shit about other comedians.
No, that's a technical term. Science. Fossil. Fossil.
Like I said, like what Tony did, Tony's been poked for months, and then he responded to Mark. And he's like, fuck that guy. He's old. He's out of touch. No one listens to his podcast. You can agree or disagree with that. And Schaub and D'Elia, and I guess Erik Griffin to a degree, are taking the high road. They're like, we would never talk. We're the guys who don't talk about other comics on this podcast. We're not like that piece of trash, Mark Maron, that old bag of shit, that fuckhead Mark Maron. We're not like him. We don't just talk shit about other comics like that fucking disgraceful loser, Mark Maron. Long time veteran comedian Mark Maron. We're not like him who just shits on other comics. We just don't do that here.
They're different.
77. None of those people are fucking with Matt anyway. It's not like Matt's losing fans or somebody's on the fence like, well, Mark Maron said.
No, it doesn't
affect Matt.
It doesn't affect Matt's fans.
Well, then
but
good.
it
Who gives a
doesn't-
shit about any of it? Let's all. It's fun. Like, and maybe people think this is hypocritical of me. I'd be curious, but like, I talk about this stuff because I'm interested in the points people are making. Like, I'm interested in Mark Maron going on these podcasts, and I do say sometimes like, why is he doing this? It's a bad look for him. But I'm interested in what he's saying and where it's coming from. And so I'll argue it from that perspective. They seem to be saying you shouldn't hate on anyone. Like you shouldn't go on podcasts and hate on people because assholes like Mark Maron do that and fuck him. And it's not but then they're also saying it's not affecting Matt Rife's ticket sales. So then wouldn't you say like, who cares? It's not to his detriment. Like, so what are they really saying? If I can really put on my thinking cap here, I think what they're saying is, don't be mean to me and Chris. Please stop making jokes about Brendan Schaub and Chris D'Elia. Would you please stop doing that? Because we can't really take it. Matt Rife is fine. Tony Hinchcliffe is fine. Mark Maron is fine. But we'd like you to stop making fun of us because it's really mean, and we think we're the only ones that don't deserve it.
Fair. That's fair.
does affect Matt, dude. It like when I see somebody talking shit about me, it bothers me, dude. I understand. It's like, oh, I don't give a fuck, and like you say, oh yeah, okay, that's a thing. But like you don't give a fuck because you go, okay, then I can't give a fuck. It's not because you truly don't give a fuck. That shit.
No,
sucks.
you gotta not. It'll drive you crazy.
I understand.
It'll drive
And
you crazy.
yet you find
Chris might be the most inarticulate human being I've ever heard speak. I can't follow anything he says.
That's how he got out of them R words, Mike. He's just like, no, everything's good.
He has this amazing quality of using the same word to argue for and against a point. Like, let me go back a little. Let me hear that again. He's using the same word as the pro and con of this argument.
I understand it's like, oh, I don't give a fuck, and like you say, oh yeah, okay, that's a thing, but like you don't give a fuck because you go, okay, then I can't give a fuck. It's not because you truly don't give a fuck. That shit.
No, it's you give a fuck because you don't give a fuck because you can't give a fuck because you do give a fuck. So this is a paradox you've created. I can't follow it.
This is where the 16-year-olds ask if they take off their panties now, Mike.
Will this stop if I just do as you say, Chris?
You gotta not. It'll drive you crazy.
I understand, and you find the balance, but it just sucks, bro. Yeah. Like, say what you want about whoever's.
Who you telling?
No, I know.
One more time, can I hear?
I can't talk.
Okay, thank you.
It's just
you can't talk.
It's like a guy died or something, Who you tell? No, but to Brendan's credit, there, he's saying like. Talking about dealing with people shitting on him. And Brendan is a veteran of that. I don't think he's adapted to it well, particularly. I don't think he's learned a lot from it. But he has faced a lot more than most people. But here's the other thing, is people are... well, Brendan will get to it. I don't want to step on his brilliant point.
This next one's called The Fall Off.
Yeah, so this is interesting. This is what I was alluding to, where Brendan puts himself in a category that I don't know that he necessarily belongs in.
It's annoying, and it sucks. Like when I see people like, oh yeah, fucking, Bert Kreischer takes his shirt off. That's all he does. It's like, all right, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? He made it. He's got his life. Or Tom Segura fell off, or whatever the fuck it is. Chris D'Elia fell off. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, for what? What are you doing? Make it. It's hard. Who
are we even talking about now? Mark Maron?
I think he's talking about you, Mike.
Right. This is they're talking about not me individually, but they're talking about like podcast cringe.
What you represent, yes.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Commentary.
They're basically specifically talking about podcast cringe, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, how did we get here? Now you're mad at that. We were talking about the brotherhood of comedy because it's all very centered around comedians. And it turns out you're just mad that a guy in Australia makes funny videos about you idiots.
Yes.
But again, those people that are saying those comments, like we all get it. Oh, Chris fell off, Brian fell off, Brendan fell off. I'm like, if this is falling off.
Hey, let him finish his point before I interject. I'm sorry.
Off. Okay. Sign me the fuck up. If this is what it is.
It's not falling off. I'll tell you what it is. It's you starting comedy and the next day getting a massive break. Brendan is the rare case, like, to use Matt Rife. People are like, oh, Matt Rife was an overnight success. He had everything handed to him. Matt Rife was in comedy for like 10 years before anyone knew his name. Like Matt Rife actually did work at his career. You can say he sucks at it if you want, but like he actually did do work. Brendan is a rare case. Brendan is in the category of like Stormy Daniels or Jeremy Piven, where he was thrust into a scene where people saw him because of something totally different, totally aside from stand-up. And he was given an opportunity with Showtime where he could put a special out. And people were like, what the fuck is this? What's happening? What is this? And people's minds were blown. So for Brendan to put himself in this category of like falling off, that would be like me saying like, hey, Rob Gronkowski had a great comedy career and then he fell off in that Showtime special. It's like, no, he was a meathead football player that for some reason they gave him the chance to do comedy on Showtime. Like, it's not a fall off. It's just people pointing and going, this seems miscast. Why is he doing this?
How much would you pay for Rob Gronkowski to do a reading of Gringo Papi, word for word? Do the entire act.
Oh, could he? Yeah, could he put his own spin out? Would it be funnier with Rob Gronkowski? That could be interesting.
Amazing. All the money.
That's the truth. I wouldn't.
So it's also no one doing well who's making those comments.
Yeah.
Chris fell off. Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you know how much Chris makes a year?
Yeah, I'm not-
Do you have any fucking
tell
clue
you.
how well he's doing?
I gotta tell you, I've seen Podcast Cringe's numbers. It's pretty lucrative to say Chris fell off, you know, or too lazy to try, or beige frequency, or any of these guys. I think they do okay. I think they're doing all right, you know. And listen, like, yes, if you're fueled by hatred of someone else, that is unhealthy. It's an unhealthy thing. When I watch Podcast Cringe, I mean, there's times where I think he gets too in the weeds with some stuff. And there's things I don't agree with always, where he's like, you can tell here that this person hates this person. And I'm like, well, that's a bit of a stretch. But like, his videos are always funny, and you can tell he's having a good time with them. This is the Aaron Imholt seething thing, where you're like, oh, these people are seething, they're miserable. And it's like, no, they're having fun. And if you can ignore those people and think they're losers, but you talk about it all the time, Brendan. Like, it's a topic that you bring up constantly on your podcast, is how evil these people are and how miserable their lives are. And it's like, nah, they're having fun. Most of them are doing all right. Are there some dicks? Of course. But there's dicks in every walk of life, you know? There's nothing we can do about that.
In every community, which is the next segment.
Yeah, so let's hear about this comedy community that Brendan will again denounce.
No one believes him. But my thing is
Well, some people
do you know anyone who's doing shit that doesn't get this type of hate? Do you know anybody? Name one. I can't name
one
one.
way or another. Yeah, for one way or another. Yeah.
Name one
No, for
dude
one
who's
thing.
actually
Yeah, no, but
making
it's different
money.
when it comes from the fucking actual community. You know what I'm saying? It's different when it comes from.
One more time, Casey. Sorry.
Here's the community.
I can't
Let's hear
talk.
from the community.
It's just, you know, it's like, it's a weird thing because I said to Brendan, I said, it's like, you know, it's like watching someone die or something. And also, it's just,
The thought was too big for his head, and he couldn't get
Boy,
it.
I wonder why Brendan never got more acting work. It's very impressive. Yeah, that's the loyal community. It is different when it comes from the community. It's a shame when that happens. So yeah, this is them totally not talking about Podcast Cringe. They're talking about some other guy. He goes to a different school. You don't know him, but that's who they're talking about.
From the community.
Yeah, what community? You guys keep saying this community.
Right, well,
Community
what's
full of cucks,
what's supposed
dude.
to be the
soft
community?
people.
What's
Well, it was.
supposed to
I've
be?
been around for a while. Yeah, there was a
Yeah,
community.
exactly. Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
I thought at least.
Yeah, exactly. I think
You know?
I believe that the internet helped.
Can I
to
say, Chris D'Elia did not get canceled. He was accused of sexual assault.
He's on the show.
This idea. Yeah, and he's on the show, and he sells out theaters. He comes to Boston, he sells out a 3,000-seat theater. Like, I've defended a lot of guys who have stepped in it with words and tweets and even dumb stuff during the Me Too stuff, like Louis C.K. That's not what Chris was accused of. Like, the idea that people goofed on him for his misdeeds is a pretty light sentence overall, I think.
Yes. Could have been much worse.
destroy that.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You know,
Because
now.
But also,
let's make it
Eric,
big, because-
I agree. There was a community. There was a community but before Rogan left. Like those, whatever 5 to 7 years. I mean, it was the golden age, right?
Yeah.
But I think to your
So the years where Brendan wasn't getting made fun of
Golden era.
for being a silver spoon comedian, those were the days. Before that, no one ever made fun of another comedian. Before that, no one attacked Dane Cook or Dice or any of these. Like, there's no comedian that people called a hack or said was just given an opportunity because they were handsome or because of who their friends are. That never happened, never once. Until Brendan Schaub. It's a goddamn plight.
your point, like these guys that does this stuff, part of it's not their fault. Like, I'm not giving them an out, but part of it is social media, YouTube. It's created to, the algorithm's created to entice hate, negativity. So if I make a reaction video going, Chris is the best comic ever, and Eric's the friendliest comic ever, and he's so good, I get 5,000 views.
Yeah.
If I make one that
share
goes, Chris sucks cock, and Eric sucks bigger cock, I get 100,000 views. It's just how we're wired.
If it's my cock.
I think the algorithm might actually dampen that one down if it was cock twice in the title. I don't know. I don't know how many views it would get, but no, that's not what people are doing to you, Brendan. No one's putting out a video saying Brendan sucks cock. They're saying Brendan Schaub lied about something blatantly, and here's an example of it. Or Brendan Schaub bombed on this thing, and it's funny. Like, that's entertaining in its own right. And by the way, some people are bad at it. We laugh about people all the time who are bad at it. Some people probably think I'm bad at it. So
I'm
like
terrible.
there is that. You know what I mean? Like there's a skill to that thing and something you don't respect, but it's something people enjoy doing. And by the way, Brendan also enjoys doing it when it's not aimed at him. There's countless times. We saw him doing it with that Hanato Moicano guy, where he's like, this guy's a fucking moron. And then Moicano calls him out and he's like, what are you spreading hate? Why are you spreading hate? All I did is laugh at you and call you dumb. What? And say you're probably dumb because you're foreign, which was a weird route to go. Why would you then insult me back? What are you, a hater? You one of these haters? So it's always astonishing. I think Chris gets it a little more than Brendan. He's not able to articulate that. He just goes, there's fucks. There's good fucks and there's bad fucks and there's no fucks. And some people don't give a fuck and some people don't give a fuck about not giving a fuck. And you're like, very good, Chris. It's articulate, but
I'm really looking at these three, and there is not one that's able to articulate a thought. Eric can't put anything together that's not like a view.
Yeah.
Brendan with a CTE, and then Chris is just a perennial victim who can't speak.
yeah, I don't know who's supposed to keep the conversation on track there.
Can we get a producer in here to talk? Jesus Christ.
These guys are just whiners. I mean, they signed up to be famous. This comes along with fame. People are going to criticize every little thing you do, and they just bitch and moan about it.
But they go back and forth. They're like, we get it a lot worse. We've been ostracized. And then Brendan will go, but can you think of anyone who's successful who doesn't have this? It's like, well, then that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Part of the game.
It either is or it isn't.
As a comedian, to me, it would seem like, well, this is just a whole bunch of new stuff to talk about and make jokes on. But they don't do the comedian part.
No, and that's why I wanted.
Exactly.
That's why I wanted to play that DeRosa thing. Is like DeRosa, I actually thought was making a good point, but you could say like was taking himself too seriously, and they immediately bust his balls for it, and he laughed. He goes, "You're right. I suck." You know, but sometimes these guys that are out of that community get lost in this thing where they. Like I said, the most astonishing thing to me is when I realized Brendan was the alpha on that show. And it was the guy who looked down at Brian and was like, oh, you're the idiot. I'm the smart guy. And it's like that in itself is such a delusion that you're like, maybe there was no saving this guy, you know?
This one's called, to that point, Genius Complex.
Oh, yeah. This is other people like Anthony Jeselnik that have a genius complex.
You mean smart? Okay, smart people. Okay.
No, I know it does suck, but look, put it this way: if you're going out there for clicks, if you're farming stuff, like you know how comedians go out there and farm for crowd work. If you're on a podcast farming for clicks, you suck. You suck. If you go out there and you're like, oh, dude, let's try to make it so. Let's talk. Yeah, we should talk about that because fuck him. You suck. You're you know what you are? You're a hoe.
I'd love to see, by the way Chris hashtags every fucking Instagram post or TikTok post or any of that stuff. I'd love to see if he ever puts out topical stuff that might not be a great joke, but because it's going to get views on Instagram that day, he probably never does that.
Never.
You're a hoe at sushi. You're a fucking hoe.
But they know that.
No.
They know that. There's no longevity.
Nobody thinks that they're doing. Nobody thinks that they're bad, bro. Hitler thought he was doing the right thing, so it doesn't matter who.
No,
what
these
you're
people
doing.
know. They know. They know they're bad.
I couldn't even follow this. I watched the full segment, and I don't know who the fuck they're talking. Are they talking about Marin still? Are they talking about open micers that talk shit? Are they talking about podcast? I've lost completely who they're talking about even. Because they're talking about the comedy community, but they're like, you know, Marin's successful. But like he does this shit because he's bitter about Kill Tony or whatever. And then they get into this thing where it's like, well, only unsuccessful people do that. And it's like, the only guy you've named is successful. So I don't know what the fuck we're talking about here.
Yes.
They know.
They lost the plot a little.
It's scummy work, but it's the only way they can make money.
Well, no, I don't know. I think that some people take this weird high ground That's my problem with like what Mark Maron does. It's like
Yes,
this
the taking the high ground.
this moral high
Well-
ground, and this like a genius complex that some of them have.
To be like,
Jeselnik's got that. He's got this genius complex that it's like, well, this is what comedy's supposed to be, and Mark's telling me like, man, I just care about comedy.
Jeselnik's different than Mark. I like Jeselnik. Jeselnik's different than Mark. Mark's a salty bitch. Jeselnik will do.
Okay, so salty bitch. So you see where it's this thing of like, so you can only not talk shit about the guys you like. Right? Like, you can call Marin a salty bitch and say Jeselnik's way smarter and Marin's doing it the wrong way. You're saying all this on a podcast while simultaneously being like, I hate. You know what I hate? Is when people talk about other comedians on a podcast. You know who does this? Is that salty bitch, Mark Maron.
They're just talking about themselves.
It really is like a Bo Burnham bit. Like
yes. There's a pile up on the high road that Brendan is trying to take.
Do it like when he goes after Rogan or something. It's still in a funny way, and it's kind of his thing, right? Being kind of that asshole.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I don't mind
like
Jeselnik.
I don't know. I just
Anthony's my friend.
I like
Tell him to
Jeselnik.
his face.
No, yeah.
I don't like you.
Yeah,
I don't
Jeselnik.
like that shit. He was talking about Matt. I hit him up. I was like, "Yo, dude, did you watch it?" I was like, "I directed that special," and he was like, "Oh, I didn't watch it." I said, "Oh, okay."
that shit just makes me feel bad. I mean, like
There's a lot of
personally, I like
interesting. Boy, there's a lot there that's interesting.
Yes.
First of all, Dalia just being like, it just makes me feel bad. It's like, well, that's what all of this is. Just say that. I think I got that was the last thing I saw. That's the last part of our clips. So I think that's stuck in my mind is Dalia admitting like, it just makes me feel bad. And I was like, oh, good for you guys. I forgot how delusional the rest of this was because what you hear there is Erik Griffin go, hey, don't shit on my thing. I directed Matt Rife's special. And then you also hear the phoniness of Jeselnik go like, well, I haven't watched it. It's like, well, why are you commenting on any of this if you haven't watched it? That's crazy. But like, your guys' feelings are hurt. Chris is the one person who actually said it correctly. Your guys' feelings hurt, and you want to say like, hey, don't make fun of me, please. I'd like to be able to make fun of other people, but I don't want you to make fun of me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it when people make fun of me, Mike. We can
Right.
say it. You can say it. You can actually speak that out loud.
Yes, but you can't then go, no one should do it on any podcast. I mean, I should be able to do it on mine. But like the guys that make fun of me, they shouldn't be allowed to do it. How do we stop that?
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Krager's did it.